son sein de vos nobles travaux, et comme à nos destins, résigner à nos fêtes.
Interesting. I think the advice that I would give to young artists, stage directors, people in the theater is first be silent and then be loud. My name is Lydia Steier. I am the metteuse en scène of the opera La Vestale by Gaspare Spontini here at the Opéra de Paris.
De la chaste déesse.
In La Vestale, it's a relatively linear story. We have a warrior, Licinius, that comes back from his conquests, military conquests, to find that his beloved has been taken into the order of the Vestal Virgins, which is an enormous problem for him. He hoped to come home and marry her. And he is now a celebrated general. She is now a Vestal Virgin. They cannot possibly live their love. In the second act, they indeed come together in the temple. And at the moment they are about to consummate their love, the fire, the eternal fire of the Virgin goes out as if to punish them for their passion. Licinius disappears, knowing that he can't save his beloved if he were to be captured. His beloved is sentenced to death. She is meant to be entombed alive. And at the very moment she is meant to die in the third act, Licinius enters and a miracle occurs. The eternal fire is lit as if from a magical hand, and somehow Licinius and his beloved, Julia, are united and are allowed to escape.
Eh bien, partage donc mon crime et ma fureur. Partage cet amour qui dévore mon âme. Et dispute à Vesta l'idole qui m'enflamme. Tu connais mon destin, où mon sang s'est glacé. Et plus affreux malheur, je te vois menacé.
Well, I was very interested in doing a piece that is such a rarity. I think the Vestale is really only known by a couple of famous arias sung by Maria Callas on compilation recordings. And it was such an interesting opportunity to take this historical work, which is really very much a hinge between earlier forms of opera like Gluck, and really is sort of the stem cell material for later opera. Really, you can look forward to certainly French grand opéra, Meyerbeer, Halévy, and also the work of Verdi, and even toward the 20th century, the dramatic writing is really grounded in the way Spontini conceived of the flow of drama. And just to have this work at my fingertips is such a rarity and such a wonderful opportunity. I thought it was a great shot. What I presented earlier is very much what you would read in a normal opera guide about the opera La Vestale, but we have taken this piece and made sure that it says something to us in contemporary Europe. It's all of us working in opera and theater are conscientious about making sure that the opera is current and modern and says something to us now. We're not going to a museum. And so we are telling this story through a lens, through a filter. And the two main themes in La Vestale are military conquests and religion. And we thought about what would happen in our time if our pluralistic liberal society were to fall apart, and all that were left were some sort of autocracy, where military victory and religion are the only two things that make any sense or difference or have any gravity in the society. And so we tell this story in a very critical manner based on the filter of our consciousness now as a society.
Quel transport, je suis auprès de toi. Quel transport, je suis auprès de toi. De tes regards, mon cœur s'enivre.
The central symbol in La Vestale is the flame, the eternal flame, which goes out and miraculously relights. And those are the sort of major dramatic moments in the piece. But we had a technical rehearsal where we got to see the fire that we use on stage. And it was, I mean, you get excited like a little kid when you see something like that. An enormous flame on stage that doesn't create smoke. It's a series of theatrical lights and a smoke machine and fire created by gel that can be controlled by pulleys on stage. And those are the moments that for me are really magical. And also for the soli, when we suddenly had this flame on stage, like having this arcane element, like a flame just changes everything. And yeah, it's like playing with adult toys sort of on stage, this flame. It was magical to see it created and magical to see what it does in the picture with our artists. It's sort of really only happened today. Like, we're creating a piece that is sort of creating like a what-if environment, like what happens if there's an enormous tilt to the right and liberal values are no longer cherished in our society. And the results of European elections, German elections, the snap election in France, one sees that the specter of a hard right turn is not as far away as we think. And it's, I guess it's fortuitous and also heartbreaking to see how relevant our treatment of this material is right now. Well, after La Vestale, I have a few months free where I can prepare further projects for later seasons. I'm actually really excited for that time to really have like a deep dive, to take long walks and listen to music and really find new pictures and new ways of exploring material. Sometimes when, as a director, you're in the middle of things, you sort of tend to go with what you know, and I'm excited to make new experiments. And I loved doing Salome here at the Opéra de Paris. I've really enjoyed doing the Vestale here, and we have a spectacular cast that have made me extremely happy. And so there's excitement about leaving here to do new works and new project and have time to think and dream, but also certainly sadness about leaving this incredible group of people.
Le spectacle était vraiment magnifique. J'ai eu la chance ce soir d'assister à la presse générale. La soprane était vraiment magnifique, le ténor, le spectacle franchement magnifique. Le chœur c'est immense. Surtout le deuxième acte, j'étais vraiment contente de assister.
D'abord, c'est un grand plaisir de voir Spontini et cette œuvre, je dirais, iconique, revenir à l'Opéra de Paris. Donc ça, c'était un grand moment, revoir un peu l'influence des Troyens. Une mise en scène un peu difficile, un peu triste, parce qu'on est aussi dans une époque où la dictature revient. Et malheureusement, la mise en scène est très actuelle et donc elle est émouvante à ce niveau-là.
La mise en scène, j'aime assez bien les transpositions d'une manière générale. Bon, je pense qu'elle est intéressante, la mise en scène, mais j'en ai pas compris toutes les clés. Quant à la musique, je trouve qu'elle s'inspire quand même pas mal de Gluck, il y a même des petits airs de Rossini, enfin voilà. Mais dans l'ensemble, ça se tient. Julia, évidemment, c'est une grande voix, mais elle ne me touche pas particulièrement. Quant au ténor, je l'adore. Voilà. Mon chanteur préféré, c'est Steier, ce ténor.
C'est un super spectacle, je passe une très très bonne soirée. C'est un opéra que j'ai jamais entendu, jamais vu sur scène. Et les décors sont magnifiques, il y a une très belle distribution et un orchestre somptueux, voilà. Donc c'est une très belle soirée.
L'amour, le désespoir, me prête à leur secours. L'amour, le désespoir, me prête à leur secours. Julia va mourir, Julia va mourir.
Interesting. I think the advice that I would give to young artists, stage directors, people in the theater is first be silent and then be loud. I think that it's incredibly important to listen and to observe and to take the time to filter that material into a statement that then you can feel confident about saying loudly. I think a mistake that I made as a young director, and I think I've seen others make, is to sort of come blazing with a statement without sitting with material and themes silently and taking the time to percolate all of these enormous ideas that we have into a poetry. And that poetry is so essential and is the thing that actually carries louder than even the loudest statements that we can make. So I guess, yeah, be silent to be loud.